The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of the Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connecting with Kim here on Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network. I'm your host, Kim Droege, and we're so glad you joined us today because we have another great show coming up. But before I get started with that, I would like to ask you to like and follow our Instagram, Facebook, and X account, where you can find out all the information about the show, about the guest, about the topic, and of course, my on-air wardrobe that comes courtesy of the Spring of Tampa Bay Boutique, located at 4415 West Osborne here in Tampa. And the net proceeds from not only the boutique, but the thrift store support their mission of providing safe spaces and empowering services for survivors of domestic violence and their children. And they've been doing a great job for more than 40 years. So I would really appreciate that you support them. And as you can see from the wardrobe I wear on every one of my shows, you can find the best stuff there. Lots of little treasures, not only jewelry, but clothing. So thank you for supporting that. And I also wanted to mention that you can catch the audio of our show now on a new schedule on Sun Radio 96.3 FM and on your favorite streaming platform on Saturday at 9 o'clock. That just started last weekend, the 15th of November to be specific, and that's what the schedule will be going forward. So excited you joined us today. I've been trying to get this gentleman in the chair for some time, and now it's finally happened, and I know you're just going to love him. And I'd like to introduce you to Andy Ross, who is the mayor of Temple Terrace. Welcome, Andy, to Connecting with Kim.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm glad it finally worked out. I'm thrilled to be here.
Me too. This is so exciting because a lot of people don't know Hillsborough County, because we get lots of new people moving to Florida all the time, don't know that Hillsborough County has 3 cities, Plant City, Tampa, of course, and Temple Terrace. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I always like to start the show the same way, with having my guests share as much of their life journey as they feel comfortable with, because you just never know when somebody out there has shared something in common with you.
Sure. So before I forget, though, there are 3 cities in Hillsborough County. When I travel around the state and people aren't familiar with Hillsborough County, I love to tell them that I'm mayor of the 3rd largest city in Hillsborough County.
You are?
Yeah, they don't know that there's only 3.
They don't. I mean, they think unincorporated Hillsborough County accounts for the majority of the population in Hillsborough County. And most people will look at a county the size and population of Hillsborough and be sort of surprised that there's only, but Tampa's such,
Right. So,
but you go ahead and share your life journey, because we're here to talk about you.
I'm thrilled to be here. I did grow up here in Hillsborough County, and not in Temple Terrace, though. I grew up out in Citrus Park area. Way back then, it was a bunch of dairy farms and orange groves back then. It's not like it is now.
Oh, no.
It's been a strange road to becoming mayor. People ask me, how did you become mayor? And I'm like, you don't have to think about that, because it's kind of accidental. It really wasn't intended. And so I did my career at the sheriff's office. I graduated from St. Leo, back then St. Leo College, with a degree in criminology, and I started at the sheriff's office at 19. Sheriff Heinrich hired me back then personally, so I did a career there. I had a terrific career, was there for over 30 years. I left there in 2014. I retired and went to the airport. I went to Tampa International Airport to served as the deputy chief of police for a few years, and then I retired from law enforcement altogether. But I retired too young, so I went back and I was an adjunct professor at St. Leo for a number of years, and so I did a little part-time. I opened a security consulting firm. My wife was still working, and our youngest daughter was still in school, and so I ran for city council in Temple Terrace, where we live, in 2016, and was elected. In 2020, I really wasn't going to run again. I had planned to do one term and then retire again. But in 2020, the previous mayor resigned right when COVID came to town.
I was going to say auspicious and tricky year.
It was March of 2020,
Yeah.
and I was serving that year as vice mayor, which is a rotating assignment. March of 2020, I became acting mayor. I don't want to give anybody flashbacks, but you remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had COVID, and that day we had the emergency policy group, which was the group of government leaders that met to formulate policy about emergencies, and so we had that. It was all the civil unrest concerning the George Floyd incident that rippled across the country. So the big riot that started, and I call it a riot because really that's what it was. That particular incident was not a demonstration; it was a riot.
No, it was a riot.
And that started at 56th and Fowler in Temple Terrace, and then moved down Fowler Avenue into Tampa. We had a lot of
you had a lot to contend
we had
with.
a lot of underhanded things going on in City Hall. I asked FDLE to come in and conduct an investigation. So we had a lot of turbulence. When I was first elected mayor, my wife asked me, "What in the world have you done?" And so I remember the day I went to my wife and I said, "Look, this is summer of 2020, and I was supposed to be out of office in November, and she was retiring the next year. So we had a plan."
Yeah, you had a plan.
We had a plan. And I remember I went to her and I said, "Look, I have to run for election or re-election." I said, I can't be this interim mayor that leaves this city.
That started all this, and now I'm going to step away, right?
Right. I can't leave it for somebody else
Right.
to come in and clean this up.
Right.
I mean, we have to finish this. And so she goes, "Yeah, I knew you were going to say that." So here we are. Was re-elected twice unopposed. I am termed out. I have 3 more years this month left on my term, and I'll be termed out.
And then you're going to pick up those plans that you had, right?
And then we're going to try the retirement thing again. Yeah. So that's how I got here.
Life is a bunch of doors opening and closing all the time. And it's just a question of whether you feel compelled to step through that door
Right.
and start that adventure, whatever that. And I kind of had the same thing when I came here, and I thought to myself, well, I'm either going to learn a lot, it's going to be a lot of fun, or it's going to be over, or it's going to be all of those things combined,
Right.
But I decided to step through the door, and I've never been sorry I did that.
Right.
It was really fun.
My wife's in public service also, and her whole career has been in public service also. She retired from the USF Police Department. And
Oh
now-
my, you really law enforcement family.
Yes, we were, and now she works for the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay as the First Responder Hope Line ambassador. So,
Yeah.
so she's involved in providing crisis intervention services for first responders. So we're both still involved in public service, but we do want to retire at some point.
So let's not let this go by. You guys Temple Terrace is celebrating something very significant this year,
Yes,
right?
we are. This is our centennial year. We were incorporated in 1925. More cities in the state of Florida were incorporated that year than any other year, I believe.
Really? Interesting.
23, 24, 25 were huge years for cities to be incorporated. I think 25, if memory serves me correctly, there were 12 or 13 cities, I think, were incorporated that year. A lot of them dissolved when the real estate market fell out in 26. It went bust, and so a lot of them dissolved. We're one of the survivors. There are others, but we came close to dissolving also. Most of the cities that incorporated at that period of time struggled after that. I mean, the land boom fell apart.
Well, Great Depression came.
Then
so
there was the Great Depression, right? Then it was followed by World War II. So there was a lot
going on.
And so we're very proud. We did survive, obviously. We're still here. But I like to say when we're talking about our centennial, and Temple Terrace people have heard this 100 times. For me, the centennial celebration is not just an exercise at looking in the rearview mirror. It's fun. It's interesting to look at the old black and white pictures
Right.
and how things used to be and how cool it was, and that was the best time in the world and all that. I think that it's really important for us to understand our identity, who we are as a people, who we are as a city, where we came from, but only because it helps inform the future.
Right. It helped you grow into whatever you're going to be.
I really want to focus on the next 100 years,
Right.
not look at the previous 100
Right.
years. And so,
No matter how great it was.
and I don't want to get ahead of our marketing team, but I just learned of the next branding initiative that they're going to do. They unveiled to us last night, and it's terrific. It's like celebrate what's next. And so I don't know if they got that but I've been saying that for a long time, and that's what they're unfolding with, and it starts in January, and I'm it's the coolest thing.
Oh, I'm so excited to see this roll out.
I'm
Well,
really
you know,
excited.
looking back at the past is great because there's a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Sure.
And also learning from any mistakes you might have made in the past. But the key word there is it's the past. You
Right.
can't do anything about it. You
Right.
can't change it. You can't. So the only thing you can do is move forward.
You have to keep in mind that I'm a history guy too. I love history, so I mean, I read a lot of history. But the truth is, this dawned on me a few years ago, is you can't. The world changes. It never stays the same.
No, it's
And so,
constant. Change is constant.
you know, I hear people say, "Oh, you know, Temple Terrace is not the same as it used to be. Tampa is not the same as it used to be. It used to be perfect. It used to be." Well, a couple things about that. First of all, I don't know that it was really as perfect as you remember it. I
Right.
think we tend to.
We tend to blot out all the negative
we tend
stuff,
to
right?
think of this utopian
Yeah,
past.
we just
you know,
remember the positive stuff.
Everything was great. We didn't have any troubles. But the truth is, there were troubles then too.
There was.
The world has always done this. It's just that we're experiencing this for the first time because it's our lifetime.
Right.
Change is inevitable. The world is different. It's not going to be the same. And I think of it like AI. You know, people are like, oh my gosh, AI is terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. It's like, and my response to that is AI is.
It is. It's
And
here
whether-
now.
And whether you like it or not, AI is part of the world today.
It
and
is.
So now it's up to us as policymakers to try to implement that in ways that are beneficial and not dangerous.
Right.
But it is. And technology is not going to stop because we don't want it or we don't like it or whatever. And so I don't know how I got off on that, but I mean, it's about the future.
You're right, though. From every situation, there is always something positive that comes, and there's always some negative aspects. But you're right. We tend to remember the more positive ones
Sure.
as we go through time, which is good. I think
Sure.
that's a good mental
Sure.
thing for us.
Sure.
And so we're going to move forward. So why don't you take, well, this might be a good time before I ask you the next question to say, if you're just joining us now on Connecting with Kim, my guest in the chair is Andy Ross, who is the mayor of Temple Terrace, one of the 3 cities in Hillsborough County, in addition to Plant City and, of course, Tampa. So share a little bit about who is Temple Terrace? What is Temple Terrace?
Well, Temple Terrace, I'm really proud to live in. I mean, I didn't grow up there.
Right.
And I'm reminded of that. I mean, Temple Terrace, some of the natives of Temple Terrace, they're very proud of that. And so I am not, I'm a relative newcomer. I've been there 24 years. Even though I grew up in the county, I didn't grow up there. And
Right.
And so I know that. But Temple Terrace is like the coolest hidden gem. Really, I shouldn't say that because hidden is not a good thing. But it's like the coolest. It's the really coolest town, and I kid Jane Castor, who's a good friend of mine. We go back to our law enforcement days.
Right, of course.
But I kid her all the time. I'm like, you guys are bigger, you know, you have more stuff. That's cool. I love the Riverwalk and all the stuff you have, but we're always going to be better because you can't possibly provide the level of service to your community that we can because you're too big. You can't do what we do for 450,000 people. You just can't. But we're able to do it. I mean, we can do, you know, basically like we have white glove city services. I mean, the city services are terrific. The community's beautiful. The river, the streets, the tree canopy,
It is a beautiful.
It's a gorgeous city. We have elevation. I mean, we're not the mountains, but we have, I mean, there's hills.
Yeah. And your website's easy to navigate.
Well, there you go. It's a beautiful city.
And what's the total population?
We're about a little over 27,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're growing, but we're not growing as fast as the average in Florida. A couple of reasons for that. Some intentional, some not. We are landlocked.
Mm-hmm.
The only room we have to continue to annex is to the east,
Mm-hmm.
which is developed already, and there's some of it. Some of those communities, parts of the community, they're dancing around us and we're dancing around them. And so, you know, they're concerned about annexation because they don't want our stricter codes.
Right.
We're concerned about annexation because they don't want our stricter codes. And, you know, how is that going to fit with the fabric of the city? So I think we're going to continue to annex, but there's this dance, you know, and it's been going on for a long time. But unlike Plant City, who's, you know, surrounded by unincorporated, they can just keep growing, and they have.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we only have certain areas where we can expand. So our growth, we do have growth. We have a lot of redevelopment, but we don't have a lot of vacant land. But that's okay. I don't sense that anybody in Temple Terrace really wants to become a Tampa or a Lakeland or, you know, I think we're really comfortable in our skin and like who we are. So I would be fine if Temple Terrace stays a city of relative same size, and that's great. Let's just make it better and better and better. It doesn't necessarily have to be bigger.
Yeah, bigger doesn't necessarily mean everybody's happier.
Right.
And a lot of people, I live in South County, so we're all complaining now about too much growth.
That's right.
Too fast, and now we can't go anywhere.
Right.
But I was taking a ride this weekend with my mom, and we were looking at, if you don't drive a road in Hillsborough County for a couple of weeks,
yeah,
you'll be driving along going, oh my gosh, when did that pop up, right? She was kind of shocked at some things. I said, but that's how it is when you grow. People want things in their backyard now. They don't want to drive 20, 30 minutes to go get that.
Right.
They want that store right in their backyard, or they want that, whatever it is, whatever they're wanting. And that's how it's going to be. How have you celebrated your centennial year this year?
We had a whole series of celebrations. The main was the big one was in May, because that's the month that we were incorporated.
Okay.
We had a terrific event down by the river. We had bands, we had food trucks, we had, hundreds of people, probably thousands of people came out. Really cool event. That was like the signature event. But we still have, I think the last one is going to be in December. So we've had a series of different events. Some of them have been in connection with things that we do already, like the Arts Festival, but we added a twist to it, for the centennial. So we've done a lot of that. It's been a cool year. We formed a couple years ago a centennial committee of volunteers to help organize this. We gave them a budget. They orchestrated public art murals, the events, bands. It's really volunteers that did this. That doesn't do them justice, because when you say volunteers, it implies that these are like amateurs, but most of them are not. The people involved in this committee do this kind of stuff for a living, and we couldn't afford to hire them. If we had hired somebody, we couldn't have afforded these people.
But the commitment and love they have for their community is really key, right?
But when you say volunteers, people automatically think of like amateur stuff. This was not that at all. They really hit it out of the park. And they're winding down. I think they're kind of glad of that. It's been,
Well, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's been a lot
Even
of
if you're a
work,
volunteer, it's a lot of work.
It's been a lot of work. So,
yeah. But I'm glad it was so successful.
It was great, yeah, it was terrific.
And for 27,000 people, yeah. You have a city council, so how many people are on the city council?
Well, I'm a voting mayor, so there's 5 if you include me, so there's 4 others.
Okay. And when you stepped into this role of acting mayor, you certainly stepped into it. And I mean that in more than one way, right? In more than one way. You stepped into it. So I'm kind of curious as to what happened with some of those initiatives. You had the FDLE come in.
Yeah.
What happened from all of that? Did it get resolved? Were you able to?
Thank you for that, because I really have to talk more about the city and less about me. The city is doing so well now; it's unbelievable. So, and this isn't an Andy thing. This is a city council thing, a leadership thing. This is not like I came in and saved the day. It wasn't that. FDLE did come in. There were terminations. There were an arrest was made. We did some firings. We got an interim city manager and began a national search for But the city council did this really, really deliberately and intentionally. And I'm so proud of what the council did back then and has continued to do now. So we knew what we wanted to create, an organization that was excellent, not just okay. We wanted to create world class, right? We wanted to create a Disney World kind of, not fake, world class, excellent. The top tier.
I get what you mean.
Top tier of cities in the state. We did not go with the cheapest recruiting firm. We went with the highest bid that we got, and we searched and searched and searched. We went out twice. We finally got a city manager from. His most recent job was Concord, New Hampshire. That's where he was working.
Wow.
We brought him in.
Big change, Temple Terrace.
Terrific. Carlos Bahia, he's still with us. We just renewed his contract. We sat down with him and said, look, this is what we want. We want to go through, we want you to form a leadership team with bench strength. We want the best of the best.
Right.
And so
because we never want to go through this thing we just went through again.
No, we want the best of the best. We want to go through our ordinances, our policies, and build a leadership team that is rock solid. And boy, have we done it. We've had to up our pay now, because you don't attract people to move here from, Ohio if you're not going to pay them. And so
no maar how much they want to get out of
we
Ohio.
have directors that we still have that been with us a long time, the legacy, are wonderful. They're the ones that we needed to keep. Some of the others are tired because they're not going to, they were used to the older ways and stuff. And so, but over the past 4 years, I guess, we have, oh my gosh, the leadership team we have is phenomenal. They are, we're running like 13 different businesses in the city. Every department's like a different thing.
It is.
And the directors are terrific. I mean, they're innovative. They're constantly coming up with new things. They're cost savings, service improvements. I could go through all of them, whether it's finance or human resources or police or fire or leisure services, public works, utilities. Oh my goodness. I mean, they're all rock stars. You get the right people in the right places. A lot of times problems just take care of themselves.
Exactly.
They get resolved.
And leadership stuff starts from the top down, not the bottom up.
Well, I'm really proud of where we've gotten the city. Financially, we've improved. We've paid down debt. We've stabilized our finances. We've been able to reduce costs. We've lowered the millage rate 3 times.
Bravo.
Yeah. So I'd like to do it. I'd like to be able to lower it more. But wage inflation, the cost of
living in
our
Florida,
expenses, our insurance,
Hillsborough
everything,
County, everything goes up.
If you track, our ad valorem revenue that comes in, and then you put wages and expenses, the lines track. It's not like we've had this big financial influx of money because property values have gone up. We're spending more money for insurance and wages.
But it sounds like stepped into in 2020. You really weathered it well, and you've come out of it on the other side in a very strong position.
Yeah, I think the city is stronger now in really whatever measure you use, whether you use satisfaction surveys or revenue or debt to revenue, what you pick the measure. I think we're stronger now than we've been in decades.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, and it's like I said, this isn't because of me.
No,
It's a
your team.
It's the team.
But leadership is key to a team.
It's amazing just in 4 years what we've been able to pull off. So
we're almost out of time. So what I want to ask you is, if you had to go, let's say, to New Hampshire and meet with someone, and they said, well, what are the 3 best things about Temple Terrace? What would you say?
Well, I'll tell you what I do when I get businesses that come and I'm trying to entice them to come to Temple Terrace. I'll tell you exactly what I do. I've told Jane Castor this too. This is what I do. I drive them, believe it or not, hear me out, because you're going to say, oh my gosh, what's he doing? I drive them through Ybor. I drive them down to Bayshore. I take them for a walk on the river walk down along the river. I take them to University of Tampa, all right? Then I bring them back to Temple Terrace and I drive them around the tree-lined streets along the river. I drive them through and they say, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And I said, yes, you can live in this and take advantage of that 20 minutes away. And you can live in a city where if you don't like the way your garbage is picked up, you can call the mayor. And try that in Tampa. And so, and I do that with businesses too. I'm like, look, I drive them around telecom. I drive them like, look, look at the University of South Florida is right there. I could throw a rock and hit, and I'm literally over the road and hit University of South Florida. So we've got it all. You've got the talent pipeline, you've got and it's only getting better with the football stadiums coming, the Mosey redevelopment. The
Mosey redevelopment is phenomenal.
Well, on the north side of the campus, you've got the golf course redevelopment is coming. So there's a tremendous amount of energy, both within our city at 56th and Bush, our redevelopment, and then just all along that Fowler Avenue corridor. So I really think in the next 5 to 7 years, that area is going to be the big thing. I think Water Street and Channelside, that's terrific, but I think that popped. And I think that area up in Northeast Tampa, Temple Terrace, USF, that's going to be, I think that's the area to watch for the next 5 years.
Oh gosh, you've almost convinced me to move.
Yeah.
From South County. Well, I can't tell you what a pleasure it was to finally get you in the chair and have you share your story and Temple Terrace's story, because it certainly looks very bright, the future. And I know you have 3 more years left, and you probably have some things you want to accomplish. Unfortunately, we are not going to have time to go through that now.
Well, I'll come back. I'll come back.
Yeah, I really appreciate you joining me today on Connecting with Kim. If you're just joining us now, my guest in the chair has been Andy Ross, who is the mayor of Temple Terrace. And Temple Terrace is one of the 3 cities in Hillsborough County that is a separate city. There's Plant City, Tampa, and of course Temple Terrace. And we've You'll have to go back and watch the whole episode so you'll know exactly how wonderful it is to live in Temple Terrace and everything they have to offer. And I'm just so happy to highlight them on our show. So I want to say before we sign off, I want to give a shout out again to my sponsor, the Spring of Tampa Bay, who provides my on-air wardrobe for Connecting with Kim. And their net proceeds from the boutique and thrift support their mission of safe spaces and empowering services for survivors of domestic violence and their children. And I want you to support their mission because you can find all kinds of treasures there. It's just a great place to shop. And be sure to like and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and X account, where you will find all the information about the show, the guests, the topic, and any other thing your little heart desires. So that's all we have time for today on Connecting with Kim here on Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network. Come back next week for another edition. Thank you.